I always liked doing my own thing. Just having some time to myself, no interruptions, no schedule, just freedom. So, after a lot of talking, my girlfriend finally let me take the RV out by myself for the weekend. Trust me, it wasn't easy convincing her. She worries a lot, but I kept saying, "It'll be fine. Just a couple of days, me and the road." She eventually agreed, but only after making me promise to check in, like every few hours. I figured it was a fair trade-off for some time alone. I packed up the RV, nothing too crazy, just the essentials. Food, drinks, some music, and my phone. I didn't even have a plan. I just wanted to drive until I felt like stopping. There's something real calming about driving with no destination, you know? The open road, the quiet, just you and the sound of the tires. So off I went. The drive was peaceful. The sun was starting to dip lower, and everything looked kind of golden, like how it does right before sunset. I wasn't even sure where I was anymore. That was the beauty of it. I passed a few small towns, but they were all the same. Little gas stations, a diner or two, nothing exciting. Eventually I found this spot, pretty isolated, just off the main road. It was perfect. Nobody around, no cars, no noise, just me, some trees, and the open sky. I pulled over, parked the RV, and stepped out. The air was cooler than I expected, but it felt good after being in the car for hours. I set up a little campfire and made something to eat. The sun was almost gone by then, and I watched it sink down behind the hills in the distance. The stars started coming out too, one by one, and soon the sky was full of them. It was the kind of peaceful that makes you forget about everything. After I ate, I sat back in my chair, listening to some music, just enjoying the quiet. Everything was so still, no wind, no rustling, nothing. It was just me, the fire, and the music. I felt pretty good, maybe too good. I decided to get up and walk around a bit, stretch my legs. It wasn't like there was anywhere to go, but it felt nice to move around after sitting all day. That's when I saw it. At first, I thought it was just a shadow or something. You know how your eyes play tricks on you when it's dark? But the more I looked, the more I realized it wasn't a shadow. It was a person, or at least it looked like a person. They were standing far off, like way out past where the light from my fire reached, just standing there. I couldn't see much, just the outline of someone. I squinted, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. "Hey!" I called out. No answer. They didn't move. I waved my hand, trying to get their attention, but nothing. They just stood there, staring at me. Or at least I think they were staring at me. I couldn't see their face from that distance. Now here's the thing. I'm not the kind of guy who freaks out easily, but something about this situation was off. Why would someone be out here? I was in the middle of nowhere, and this wasn't a spot you just stumble across. It wasn't like there was a hiking trail nearby or anything. It didn't make sense. I tried calling out again. "Hello? You good?" Still no answer. They didn't even flinch. Just stood there, like a statue. At this point, I was starting to get that weird feeling in my gut. You know, the one where something isn't right, but you can't explain why? Yeah, that feeling. I wasn't sure what to do. Part of me thought maybe I should just ignore it. Maybe it was nothing. But another part of me was telling me to get back in the RV and lock the doors. I decided to grab my flashlight from the RV. Maybe if I got a better look, I could figure out what was going on. I went inside, grabbed the flashlight, and headed back out. When I shone the light where I had seen the person, they were still there, same spot, same position. But now, with the light on them, I could see a little more. They were wearing something long, like a coat or maybe a cloak. It was hard to tell. Their hair was kind of messy, and it hung down, covering their face. I still couldn't make out any details, but they were definitely staring at me. I could feel it. That gut feeling was getting worse. "Hey, what do you want?" I asked again, my voice shaking a little this time. Still nothing, no movement, no response, just standing there. I started to feel uneasy. No, scratch that, I was downright freaked out. I wasn't sure what to do. Every instinct I had was telling me to get inside the RV and lock the door. But I didn't want to look like a coward. After all, it could have been someone lost or needing help, right? But something about the way they just stood there, not moving, not saying a word, it didn't feel right. It felt wrong. I turned off the flashlight and took a deep breath, hoping they would just go away. But when I looked back, they were gone. Just like that. 1 second they were there and the next, gone. I rubbed my eyes thinking maybe I was just seeing things. It was dark, I was tired. Maybe my mind was playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew what I saw. I didn't imagine it. Someone had been standing there, watching me. I decided to call it a night and head inside the RV. I locked the door, checked it twice, and made sure all the windows were shut. I wasn't about to take any chances. I tried to relax, but I kept having the feeling that something wasn't right. A few hours later, I woke up to a sound. It was faint, but it was there. A soft, scraping noise, like something dragging across the ground. My heart started pounding in my chest. I listened closely, hoping it was just the wind or an animal, but the sound didn't stop. It was steady, getting louder and closer. I sat up, barely breathing, trying to figure out where it was coming from. Then I heard a knock. It wasn't loud, just a soft tap on the side of the RV, but it was enough to make my blood run cold. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. It was 3 a.m. Classic horror movie timing, right? I didn't want to get up, didn't want to look, but I had to. I had to see if someone was out there. I crept over to the window and slowly pulled the curtain back, just a crack. My heart stopped. There, standing just a few feet from the RV, was the person I had seen earlier. They were closer now, much closer, and they were staring right at me. I stumbled back, my mind racing. What the hell was going on? Why were they following me? I didn't know what to do. My phone had no signal, of course, because why would it? I was in the middle of nowhere. The knocking started again, this time louder, more insistent. I backed up against the wall, my mind racing. Then I heard a voice. It was quiet, almost a whisper, but I could hear it clearly. "Let me in." I froze. The voice was calm, but there was something wrong with it, something that sent chills down my spine. "Let me in," it repeated, this time a little louder. I shook my head even though they couldn't see me. "No," I whispered, more to myself than to them. The knocking stopped. For a moment there was silence. I held my breath, waiting, hoping they would just leave. But then I heard it again. The scraping sound, only this time it was coming from the roof of the RV. My heart was pounding in my chest. I didn't know what to do. Should I go outside? Should I stay inside and hope they go away? I felt trapped, like a mouse in a cage. Then the voice came again, this time from right above me. "Let me in." I grabbed my keys, ready to make a run for it. But before I could do anything, I heard a loud thud, followed by silence. I waited, my heart racing, but nothing happened. No more knocking, no more scraping, just silence. I stayed there, frozen for what felt like hours, but it was probably only a few minutes. Eventually, I worked up the courage to peek out the window again. The person was gone. The knocking had stopped. Everything was still. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I sat there, wide awake, listening for any sound, any sign that they might come back. But the only thing I heard was my own breathing, heavy and uneven. When the sun finally came up, I packed up my things and got the hell out of there. I didn't look back. I didn't even stop for gas until I was miles away. I don't know who or what that was, and I don't want to know. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm never going RV camping alone again. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed these stories. If you did, check out more of my videos on the screens above or visit my channel for even more. Don't forget to subscribe for future updates. Stay safe and take care.